right about here. The rest is taken care of with the gas lift. The Frunk, you actually get an auto region brake drive mode. EV3's got you covered. EV3 Air Trim got you covered. Oh, I knew it. Long story short, there we go. No table. There is no ambient lighting here whatsoever. Welcome to CarSceneKorea. I introduce newly released Genesis, Hyundai, and Kia cars. And as you saw from the thumbnail, the car I have behind me today is 2025 Kia EV3, but not just any other Kia EV3. It is finally the Air Trim, the base trim or the lower trim, if you will. The easiest way for you to tell is the rear taillight, because there is no horizontal bar that runs across, which kind of completes the Star Map signature lighting, which is the penetrating design language of the latest Kia brands and cars. It only has that line missing, that horizontal bar that runs across right in the middle. So I mean, you guys tell me which one is your favorite. Over there is the EV6 that I am test driving. Nice little EV9 written on it. So it is that flagship EV of Kia, the largest EV out there in the market from Hyundai Motor Group family that's currently available. I mean, I have to show you, right? I have EV9, EV6 Facelift, and the EV3, the Kia trio. They are all in snow white pearl, which is my personal favorite color from Kia, I would say. Enough of that. Today's video is about the test drive of the EV3 Air Trim, or the base trim. It was really tricky for me to get my hands on it, well, because Kia wants to showcase and show you, tell you everything there is to this EV3's tech. The car being in the Air Trim, it's going to be missing a few things, but I will briefly go over a little bit about the differences between the EV3 and EV6 for the obvious reason. Long intro as always. Let's get behind the steering wheel of this EV3 Air Trim. As soon as I get out of this parking lot, I want to show you the interior, of course, and then come back to this place, share you the overall experience of the EV3 versus EV6. And I'm sorry, I just cannot run away from this place. Look at these trio. I want to light up the EV9 too, but it's going to cost me extra money for that because I rented out this EV3. Let's go check it out. The clock is ticking. You know, I was in this same facility, obvious reason, right? I brought the EV6 inside here, and already I can feel that so much easier for me to drive around. It's actually in EV3 when it comes to the tight parking lots and spaces like where I am in right now. Not that I wanted to make all the comparison with this car to that of the EV6 Facelift, but since I've been driving the car for days and over a few hundred kilometers, I have no choice but to, right? Let me tell you about that just a little bit. First and foremost, no sunroof. Not that it's a must. I like to have the maximum lighting coming into the cabin, and of course the sunlight plays a big role. So the sunroof is missing on the Air Trim. Second is actually the ride itself. Let's see. So I actually want to check on the tire pressure because the car has the stock tires from the factory, so I actually have to drive a little bit, so I'll let you know ASAP. I think it has adequate amount of tire pressure. I want to say somewhere around like 40 psi-ish. Not too low, but it's definitely on a bit of more of a stuffed air kind of a vibe to it. The Air Trims also get the smaller, all right, it just popped out right now. It's 41 psi on the front and 40 psi on the rear. So wheels and tires come in different sizes, and not sure which one would be your preference when it comes to the design of the wheel, but I actually like this Air Trim wheel design. No problem. It's okay. It actually looks good. So right there, like I told you, 41 and 40 psi. But well, given the fact that this is a rental car, probably that's how they wanted to keep it. The ride is okay. And one more thing that I feel immediately is this flat screen. Unlike the EV6 Facelift's screen, both of them actually have 12.3-inch monitors, by the way. EV6's were facing actually towards me because it's slanted just a little bit, right? Find this a bit awkward because it is just completely flat, because the these screens are directly facing that way, unlike the EV6s. Of course, it's much more smaller here inside compared to the EV6. The line of sight, I feel like I sit a bit higher up from the ground, but it's got to do with the size of the physical car being, because there is this sense of space, vehicle size that I have to myself. I feel like I have more space around me. And a few more things, the spaces here, the door pockets are smaller compared to the EV6, because I could easily fit these two here, no problem with the EV6, but it's super tight with the key fobs and the key right here. So these are different, frequently used and touched items. Buttons are physically attached right here. So I really like the mix of some of the physical buttons here and there, and that 5-inch monitor solely for the AC only. The level of the fans and the temperature is right here at my arm's reach, no problem. I can actually change that whenever I want. I don't have to toggle through the different buttons to see and find where they are and if that is what I am looking for. You know, it's a physical button. You can actually feel it at your fingertip, so you know you are actually pressing on that button. And even that slight cut between these two buttons, I can actually feel the texture and the differences between the two. I do not have to even look at this to lower the temperature or increase the fan or decrease the fan, just like so. Direct and intuitive. I mean, I can go on and on about this EV3 because I also have test drove this car for a very long time. I am terribly sorry. I know I've been sitting on the edit, I've been super busy, but I have a ton of videos coming up. I think I will be posting this video first because there is like almost zero video on this Air Trim EV3. It's even really difficult here in Korea. I actually drove all the way down to here so I can actually get a hold of this car and get to show you. Another difference I found out is that there are no buttons here. You cannot move your passenger seat. And last but not least, I saved it on purpose. Yes, the good old armrest that we know of. There is a bit of a slight cutout right here, so you can store some more, but there is no more sliding table on this Air Trim. You guys wouldn't know how many people actually did not like that table all that much. But I actually do get and understand Kia's approach and take with that table thing, because not just Kia, but I want to say Hyundai Motor Group in general, they are approaching these EVs to be another living space theme, because next to your work and home, cars, vehicles are where you spend the most of your time in your daily life, if not your whole life. Wouldn't you agree? And unlike the petrol and gasoline times, you actually end up spending some time inside the vehicle to charge this up and get moving, right? So the designers foresaw that we'll be spending a lot of time inside this EV, so putting a table there could actually help you with a lot of things. Having a flat surface right in the middle, actually I really liked it quite a lot, but it's not all that practical, I'll give it to you, when you are moving. Well, number one, it's not going to be holding on to any items that you placed. It does have some finish to it, so it's not super slippery, but it's not going to stop items from jumping around. Long story short, there we go. No table, but something where you can store your items. I casually put my cables there, charging cables. So rest of the stuff is pretty much self-explanatory, but I'll show you more about that when I get inside. So I'm trying to recall my past memory of driving thousands of kilometers with the EV3 GT line, which was the loaded model that I have driven. You know, EV6 has the motorized telescopic feature. I think it was all manual with the GT line as well. I'll double check on that. However, one thing I know for sure, so there is no HUD on this car, no head-up display, no information shot on the screen. Oh, I knew it. That is, the first row windows are not dual laminated glass. So it is just the good old windows that we know of. And this rattling noise you are hearing, it is from the keys and the credit card that I put. So there are tons of space where you can store your items in this EV3. Want to show you what the interior is like. I hooked it up to the C-type charging ports on these two seats. There are two of them, one on each of these seats right here. I actually do use C-type charging ports a lot. The more the better, certainly, because everybody has their own electronic devices nowadays. So you want to charge on the go, EV3's got you covered. EV3 Air Trim got you covered. Same thing, the C-type charging ports, press on here to transfer the data and charge, just to charge only, and the charging outlet for C-type and 12-volt system. And also lets me know that the car is driving away, so you don't miss a thing. There is no BVM, blind spot view monitor, where it will turn on the camera to your desired direction, so it actually gives a secondary aid, the visual aid of the lanes you are trying to make the lane changes to. The more the better, especially if it's tech related items and features, right? If you are debating whether you should get this Air Trim or not, extra option, extra dollar actually matters, right? So I think it's okay. The EV3 is not all that big, so you can easily just be careful when you're driving back and forth. You should be fine. It's very, very cozy, easy, gentle to drive around in cities. And this car being a rental car, it actually has the whole accumulated battery efficiency clocked on this screen, and it's reading 5.9 kilometers per kilowatt hour. And that precisely is also the number I got when I long distance drove this EV3. That's including a lot of highway, freeway drives. 80 to 90% of the drive that I've done were on freeway, and you guys know what that means when it comes to EVs. That is one impressive driving distance, to be honest. The best part, the beauty of this EV3 is that you actually get an auto region brake drive mode. So literally it is an auto mode. The car will actually use the region brake accordingly, and the car will also even stop the vehicle for you. I talked all about this on my long distance drive, but you really have to test drive and feel it for yourself in order to figure out what all this hype and tech is about. Once you do, you will also understand the reason why I am going so crazy about this. You know, let me show you now the reverse cam. There is no BVM backup blind spot view monitor, meaning there is no cameras on the side mirrors. So that's all we are gonna get. No extra display on the other side, unlike the GT line that we saw. So just a good old reverse view cam, and it's actually all stretched out, low resolution, bird eye view, like when you are like trying to really get close to your surrounding, you can use that. So just a backup view monitor, that's everything we get with this car. But once again, it is okay. It is okay. Not going to complain about this whatsoever. Time for me to show you the interior and the rest of the miscellaneous stuff up close, because it is my first time and your first time seeing this Air Trim in person, right? Let's go. Got outside of the car. Let's take a look at the exterior. So that is the wheels and tires that I told you about. It's running on 17s, 215 60 17. So I want to say it's that typical size that we are used to seeing on CUVs, compact utility vehicles. It's a bit fat, meaty tires on the sidewall with a tread wear of 520. So it is good for 2-3 years, no problem. You see this extended front design, it's actually done on purpose. The space between these top portion and the rear towards here, the reason why it's not completely circular, it all boils down to CD, coefficient of drag, which translates to battery efficiency. Speaking of which, I also want to mention you that because I was actually taking a thumbnail photo from behind. I thought that was some kind of a damage done to the car, but no. It is actually to enhance and better the airflow underneath the car. And for the first time ever, as you can see, EV3 gets full, complete undercover from the front of the car all the way to the rear of this vehicle, as you can see. The most obvious difference is, once again, that horizontal line that connects right in between these two, giving or maybe perhaps completing the star map signature lighting. But I am actually really okay with this design too. It's uniquely EV3. Hooked up together with that is actually different front headlight as well, which I'll show you momentarily. It really is my first time seeing this car too. So the GT line bumper design is actually what I'm very used to seeing. This kind of feels a bit awkward to me. However, you know, it really does look like and feel like the EV3 design overall. Let me also show you the front, because this one does not have the numerous LED lights and headlights that we saw. You can see it only has 3 giant cubes LED headlights, so the front headlight is actually turned on right now. So that is what you can expect to find and see on this Air Trim. So it's actually all the flicker you are seeing on the screen right now, so it is a solid light to human eyes. Also my first time seeing this combination of the headlights. What do you think? There are a lot of headlights with the GT line ones. However, that's not it. Just 3 good cubes right here. Full LED though, so it's super bright. EV3 and EV6 and EV9. It is not the smallest numbered EV that we will get from Kia, but it is for the time being. So there are things missing here and there because of the car being the lowest numbered EV from the family, such as no automated doors. It is completely manual regardless of which trim you get. If you are standing right next to the GT line and a regular, you probably can tell the differences immediately. Let me show you what's inside and underneath the Frunk. And does it come with a gas lift? I won't be surprised either way. I want to say it does have the gas lift, and does it? Yes, it does. And this actually is a must when it comes to cars with Frunks. If you want people to make a good use of the Frunk, this gas lift is going to be a must. So let me show you up close. Not the biggest sized Frunk you can find in the market, but you could definitely store some items in, and everything is covered up. Even EV6 does not get this. I actually mentioned and went over this multiple times. First, in its category, it has the matching design up on the sound absorber on the trunk, right over there. Everything else is covered up. The kicker here is that this is the Air Trim. However, we still get all this goodies, black emblem here, and a lot of protective films that is not taken out just yet. You can easily open, close, and use the Frunk just like so. How easy you can open this trunk up. And the car being the tiny car, you don't really need all that much of force lifting this car up and down. You guys just saw it, right? Just a gentle push. It's also going to give me the first kick, a little bit of boot, so it does get locked for safety reason. You can easily maybe pull it all the way up to here. You see how I do it with one single finger? I'm not exaggerating, so right about here. The rest is taken care of with the gas lift. Make a good use of this handle when you are shutting the trunk down just like so. Maybe I do want that light bar because that really is the SARMF signature lighting, the design of Kia brands, but because it's missing that horizontal bar in the middle, it actually now is uniquely EV3, because with that line before, it just kind of felt like that it was the baby EV9. So that is one of the reasons why everybody has been saying that it is the baby EV9 after all. With that gone, it is uniquely EV3, and I like it. Thanks to the curvature and also the design, this can be and will work as your shelter under rain. Although it's not all that gigantic, it just drops, it stretches out about this much, so that's it. So I can fit inside just like so. Check this out. There is crazy amount of space in the trunk right here. Wow. It seems like according markets will get the spare tires right here. It actually has the cutout. So it is just simple and easy, just like that. It's light, but it's durable. It gets the work, it gets the job done. And one more thing you guys probably also noticed, you can dive this down and crazy amount of space. So it's about that much space you can actually get. The only thing, you know, if I really have to point out, I cannot fold the seat from the trunk, but it's not just EV3. A lot of cars in the market do that. So let me fold the seats and show you the second row seats. All right, so there's the lever here. There is only one lever, which will do all the work of folding the seat and also you changing the inclination of the seats. When folded, it does get locked, so sturdy and firm. Use this lever, first lock, and pushed all the way. And if I do recall correctly, that is probably like 10 different levels of inclination that I can do. So let me actually lock it on the first angle. So that is how much difference you can expect to find between. So there's quite a lot of angle that you can choose, as you can see, right? I think there's like 10 different levels. 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 11, 13. I actually managed to clock 13 different levels, as you just saw. And just look at this. I casually grab onto this as my handle to easily let myself in and out of the vehicle. That right there is what I meant. Use this as your handle to easily let yourself in and out of the vehicle. You can use this as a coat hanger too. No heated seats on the second row seat and no dual laminated glasses, just like the first row. It just has one thick window. So it just has the typical window that we know of, as you can see right there. Nothing else, just the things that we are used to seeing. No fully powered window. However, the window goes down all the way like that. The finish here is also plain plastic, nothing glossy, unlike the GT line we saw. I can live with that, it's perfectly fine. And plastic cladding around the car, does that bother you? Does it have to be panel black? There is always forever split opinion about the cladding being gloss versus just being plain plastic. I'm okay with both of them. There's no doubt that it actually feels a bit more luxurious when it's finished with the same body color matched cladding, which we find on EV9s and so forth. But it does fit with the category, the purpose of the EV3, kind of giving more of a characteristic of this urban CUV, grocery getter, city driver, you name it. And love that side skirts as well, that accent and point. These unique design and mix of the patterns we see on the wheels, especially with the Kia cars, are derived from their penetrating design language theme, which is opposites united. Where there are two opposing ideas meet, something new is created. Car being an EV, it's mostly covered up. The only cutout I see are these two, same for the front as well. And there's no need, just look. I mean, yeah, the car only has 1,000 kilometers on it, but the rotors and brake pads are just brand new, brand new. Look at that. Don't want to miss a thing, so let me show you the second row seat one more time from this side. Just like all of the latest Kia EV cars are, they use upcycled and recycled materials here and there throughout, including this pad, and also found on the seats as well, two-toned different seats and ISO fixes, as we can see, for your document storage, AC vents in the middle, nice little cutout for you to store your smartphones and such. The C-type charging port I told you about, really a big fan of this, love this. And you can actually store your smartphone just like that. So that is iPhone 16 Pro. I don't know if that's gonna make any size differences, but you can actually see how deep, you can see how deep and large that space is. So the view of the front row seats from the second row seat, you can see how wide it is. Just straight lines, straight everything compared to the EV6 that I've been telling you about. The monitors are just directly facing me, nothing slanted. So it is easier for you to share the display with the passenger, unlike the EV6. View you can expect to see from the second row seat, tilted all the way back. And I like the fact that the levers are actually attached right here next to the seats instead of right here. Like, yes, I am referring to my car, Kia Seltos. So, I mean, I could do it, but you see, so I have to be like an athlete to reach over here, but not so much with these, right? So I can easily adjust my sitting position just like so. So let's get in the passenger seat, the shotgun, heated seats, ventilated seats, press hold to turn it off. It's always been that way with Hyundai Motor Group cars. And not fully automated window even on the passenger seat though. So just like my Kia Seltos. Same thing with the window. However, it goes down all the way. It actually is quite the difference, especially for the second row seat. Windows going all the way down versus not. All right, let's get in. One long horizontal bar and wow. All right, the sun is going down, so I just noticed this. There is no ambient lights. there is no ambient lighting here whatsoever. That's actually just a light reflection. So there is no ambient light here whatsoever. Nowhere to be found. Unlike the GT line that we had, it had a lot of just amazing, beautiful colors, ambient lights that wraps around, hugs around the entire car. How smooth and gentle they were with the use of the ambient lights. But it's missing on this Air Trim. Again, not going to complain. I am okay with that. So very direct, intuitive, and simple. Just gets the job done, up and down, left and right. Wouldn't really point out or say anything luxurious, but it just gets the job done. Very direct and straightforward. If you are a big fan of mounting something here for your smartphone gears, you might have a bit of difficulty, because I actually do feel and see, wow, look at this. If you have those hooks for your charging pads and all, I don't think you'll be able to use this. And there's no way you can actually squeeze anything inside between the blades or somewhere here to get that running. Just a heads up. Maybe the most ideal way might be attaching something here behind the monitor using some double-sided tapes or something, but it does support wireless Apple CarPlay, as you can see, including Android Auto. So right there, Bluetooth, so Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, you can see all of that. And the infotainment system, the rest of it, it's something that we've seen before. We've seen it all. However, I'm not seeing any built-in cam 2.0, because if we do, we will see it right here, but it's missing. Yet there is nice little wireless phone charger in the middle, direct and intuitive lighting here showing that the phone is currently being charged. And same thing, when you actually go into one of the CarPlay or just the menu in general, you'll see there the battery is being charged. Same thing, just go into the Hyundai Motor Group navigation. You can also see the phone is currently being charged. Let me lift it up. Yep, goes away, put it down, turns back on. And it's very fast. You see the response? Look at that. And other buttons here: auto hold, parking view cam, alarm sensor, and downhill assist. And that is, oh yeah, that's because the trunk is all open, and no power tailgate. But I actually like the view. Wow, we have the sky inside. No digital center mirror. I mean, it was not available even on the GT line. So just a good old rear view mirror that we know of, but it is very thin, very thin. And the rest of the LED lights, is it going to stretch out? Yes, it does. LED lighting, that looks a bit amber-ish, but that does look like LED lighting though. So, you know, just in case you didn't know, if you just slam it, close it, it is going to physically press on the button, so it actually does shut down on its own. I mean, tell me you know, right? Last but not least, this column type shifter, which moved up from the rotary type that we just saw from the EV6 Facelift. This I like the most, because you really don't use the gear selector once you start driving the vehicle, right? So there is not so much of a need for the dial to be located here and eating away all of that space. It is a brilliant touch by Hyundai Motor Group, having the column type shifter attached right behind the steering wheel. I always love that. Big props, big props. All right, so let's get out. Let me just recap and show you. So close the trunk, just like that. I have the brake lights on, and gotta show you the charging port too. Like I told you, it's all manual, nothing out of the ordinary, everything that we saw originally from the previous GT lines, but this I actually like a lot as well. Some people actually worried and questioned about the water, the rain getting in. Don't worry, even if you pour water into here, I mean, not that I recommend you doing it, but it's all tested, it's all waterproof. You don't need to worry a thing. So long as the vehicle does not have any electric or mechanical issue, the car is waterproof and it's all taken care of. You are in good hands. Don't worry about it. Oh, and also, you see this color right here? You can also see the different status, very self-explanatory. So let's go start driving this car. I want to tell you more about the ride and the drive. Let's go. All right, need to reverse, and could really use some fully automated windows, but it's okay. I can live with that. The backup view cam just working beautifully, not going to complain a thing. And the side mirrors are large, good enough for its size. You know, I can reverse without a hassle. Look at this. I could actually go much faster, but you know, safety first. So check out and try out the NVH, noise, vibration, and harshness of the EV3. I do sense that it feels a bit more cozy, more serene inside EV6 than EV3. But you see, even this tight, narrow parking alleyway, like I can just easily maneuver up and down, despite the fact that this car is just the front-wheel driven version, meaning there's only one motor on the front. You might think that the power might not be sufficient. However, nope, not going to complain a thing about this. You saw me come up the hill. I mean, you will soon momentarily see the downhill now. Just no complaint about it whatsoever. And this smart regen also just pleasantly engaging. So it's actually milking, retrieving all the energy going downhill. So instead of just exchanging it to the heat energy, which internal combustion engine cars have no choice but to do it. But you see, it actually slows down differently according to the slopes. It's actually retrieving the energy back to the battery. So it's recharging as it's going downhill. It's the beauty of leaving this drive in auto mode. I strongly recommend that you do so, because this is the only thing that I think I would say that is missing or lacking in EV6. Because EV6 does not get this. Well, the next all-new model will definitely get all of this. I mean, the next new all model will probably be the next generation platform, which Hyundai Motor Group has, is to be called EM platform. But well, too much of a side story. The auto regen, I can praise on and on about this. Just a lovely feature and tech to have with these cars. It's lovely, lovely. Unless it is that every space this EV6 has over EV3, unless that is what you need to get, I would always get an EV3. I know, even in the US and also around the globe, around the world, there are places that just are super tight, be it parking lot, be it the streets like the one I am on right now. It's not always the bigger car the better, because, you know, grocery getter, city cars, you don't have people sitting inside the car all the time. This is the car you want. I mean, I love this little tiny adorable car. Like, oh, just look at this auto. I will show you right now. So it even, look at this. See, I'm not doing anything. It stopped the car on its own. And I'm not using HDA. I'm not using ADAS. It's all the car doing on its own. Not saying that this is a brand new tech that I want to brag about, but it really is something that takes away so much stress away in your city drives. I cannot stress this enough. I've done it already on my previous videos. I have no choice but to do it one more time with this EV3. Because again, I've been driving EV6, something that EV6 is lacking. Beautiful, beautiful piece of technology to have. EV3, even if you get the Air Trim, the lowest trim, you will get the auto regen. So that's the best part about this getting latest and ultimate flagship vehicles. Everything gets watered down. This column type shifter that I told you about, it was first originally introduced on EV9. EV3 got it even before EV6 did. And this gigantic 12.3 inch monitors and this 5-inch HVAC system, which was also on EV9 first. I can go on and on about this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are still debating whether you should get this or not, I would say hands down, this EV3 is the best EV that Hyundai Motor Group has got to offer up until today. I dare to say that. And of course, it's factoring in the money factor. It's always about the money. Like, it's always about the value you get for what you paid. Oh, I didn't even tell you this. So the driving distance, 95%. So we can go 506 kilometers on an average. So the car was standing still with the AC running. So that is the reason why. But if you drive As I have shown you in my city drives and accumulated drives, 6.0 guaranteed. It doesn't matter how harsh you drive, doesn't matter how much you put it on the freeway, you're gonna get 6.0 for sure. If you properly drive this, mostly on the cities and so forth, you will easily see that number go up to 8, 9, if not 10. I've seen people clocking 800 kilometers on EV9 already. So imagine those people driving this EV3. That number is certainly achievable, if not more. So if I don't see you again in EV6, that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching this far. Don't forget to like and subscribe CarSceneKorea if you did, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.